Well, we sit down and we have a safety committee, and we also involve, of course, our school resource officer, and we review what we call the crisis management plan. And of course, this is not something we make up from the hip. We have what's called the National Incident Management System, which comes from the Department of Homeland Defense. So we developed that, and it tells us a step-by-step on what to do in particular situations, such as a fire drill, such as an active shooter.
And as far as the police side of it, we go through intensive active shooter training, which will involve the fire department, us, and surrounding agencies if needed. It's ongoing training. It's always being updated, so everybody's on the same page.
You need to find the closest open door and get in that classroom. Even if you don't see any doors open, then you need to go to the nearest restroom. And the best thing to do is just to get in the stall and stay there until we come out of lockdown, until it's safe to come out. Because once the doors are closed and locked, teachers are not allowed to open the doors. We cannot open those doors because we don't know who the intruder is. So for the safety of the rest of the class that's already in there, then they're not going to open that door. So that's the thing you do during class time. If it's during transition time, or before school, after school, or during lunch, it's a difficult situation. If there's not a big crowd, Dr. Grossman, he is an expert in killology, and he goes into a lot of schools. His advice, if it's not a big crowd, you start just swerving, zigzagging, going back and forth and just running and getting out of the way. His advice, if there's a huge crowd and you're going to be bottlenecked, you need to charge the shooter.
And as far as barricading the door, yeah, that'd probably be a really good idea. Make it as difficult as possible for anybody to get in there. Any sort of barricade, any sort of preparations to prevent entry is great. If you're stuck in the hallways, find someplace to hide or get out of school. It's going to be pretty obvious where the danger is coming from. Well, that's pretty easy. You're minimizing the amount of targets. You're putting people in safe places. If the shooter can't see you, he can't shoot you. And then they just keep moving on. And that also gives first responders additional time to get there.
When you see kids, knocking at the doors to allow you in so they can take the shortcut, if you don't know that kid, you don't know if they're a student here. And I'm telling you, from experience, that there are kids that will enter our campus that don't belong here. So you're putting, it's putting our school at risk. I'm prior military. Officer Hubbard's prior military, and he's a police officer right now. And I'll be the first to tell you, the more you train on something, the easier it's going to come for you in the event that it actually happens. So if you take it serious and we continue to do these lockdown drills and so forth, your mind's going to be ready to do what you've been trained to do. And if you haven't taken it serious and you haven't done these drills, then you're not going to know what to do, and the drill will not, or if it does happen, a crisis does happen, then you're not going to react the way you should react in a situation like that.
I believe there's talk regarding it with the recent shootings and things like that. Everybody's discussing how they can do things better.
Emergency operation procedures, currently our school safety committee is revisiting that. So what we're doing right now, we're identifying the hazards of this school. Have they changed? Are they the same? And then once we identify those hazards, we're going to sit down and collaborate and see what solutions we can come up with to increase the safety of the school.
There's multiple ways of doing that. Your teachers, your administration, me, you can call me, email me, you can go through the PD. The police department has an app that has every officer's name in here as far as school resource officers. You can do anonymous tips and it comes right to me. So you don't have to worry about anybody knowing who you are. You can get the reports, you can see what the updates are and things like that, and it's really quick. I mean, you may be sitting right there in the cafeteria or somewhere and you see something going on, send it. We'll check it out right away, because time is of the essence of most of these things.
You guys get more information than we do, because you guys are out there. You're with your peers. You know what's going on, you know, and so, you know, you guys have to communicate with us. Without you, we wouldn't be able, I'll be honest, we wouldn't be able to keep the school safe. I mean, information we get from you guys is valuable. I mean, it's helped us in many situations.
Oh, yeah. We've gotten weapons, drugs, just because kids cared and brought that information forward. The kids are the information system of the school. Don't hesitate to forward some of that stuff if you think it's going to affect somebody else.
You know, one thing that I was really impressed with when I first came here was the safety. The number of cameras that we have here, the ability to go back and get video footage, the perimeter, it's clear. I mean, you can see things, you know, people, things coming. But overall, I would have to say this is the safest school that I've been associated with.
Having an officer in the school that has a direct link to the fire department, direct link to the police department, knowing how many police officers are patrolling all the time, knowing the systems we have in place, knowing that the officers on patrol everywhere have access to the camera system, so they know there won't be any, well, we don't really know where he is. We'll have a general idea real fast. But I think here in Frisco we do a really good job. We haven't had any incidents like this, knock on wood, but I think we're prepared for it as best we can. We can always improve, but they're giving us the resources to do it, I know that.